We'll just give it a sec.
Alright, we are live on YouTube and on Twitch.
Just waiting for it to really kick in here.
Yeah, we kind of had a false start last time, didn't we, White?
Hey!
Is soccer back?
I don't know.
I don't know.
There we
I think
go.
we're coming in pretty good, yeah? Damn. It says episode 3 for me, but I'm just going to assume it'll fix itself later.
Better.
Let's see. Let me post this out. Episode 4 is live. I totally spelled episode wrong. There we go. Okay. We could probably start the introduction now, yeah?
Yeah.
All righty then. I'll just do soccer's for him. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Briefing Room, 13th MU podcast hosted by your lovely command staff. I am Captain Takeda Hideyoshi, the company commander and Apollo platoon leader. We are currently missing Captain Dubs at the moment, head of Tuma. He is away getting a tattoo, so he will probably join us midway through the podcast. Second Lieutenant Soccer. Are you there? Gonna assume no, he's probably doing something, so he'll be back whenever he gets back. So yeehaw to that. I'll roll it over to the first sergeant.
Yep, you know me, First Sergeant Cyber, back at it again. Finally back out of Virginia and in Hawaii. So, how's it going from the tropical state?
It's me, Master Sergeant Ace.
I'm back.
I am Senior Chief White for the Trauma Element.
And
And
I'm
Soccer.
tired.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm Second Lieutenant Soccer, Executive Officer of Tuma. And retired former Sergeant Crusader.
Alrighty. Well, welcome, Crusader. It's the next guest on the podcast. How you doing, Bubba?
I'm doing fantastic. How are you?
Hey, Crusader, can you get closer to your mic? Because
Third
sounds
night.
sounds like you got away from your mic after I set your volume and stuff.
God bless, boy.
I didn't change anything. Is that a little bit better?
Keep going.
Test.
How about now? Better?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Alright, is it good?
Yep.
Alright, sick.
We're not very good at this.
No, that's fine. you
I
know.
had everything set perfect before we started. And as soon as we went live, it said, fuck you, technical difficulty, time go.
Of course. It's
Time go.
always like that. It doesn't even matter what it's about. I love technology. But with that being said, Crusader, how has retirement been, man? What have you been up to since you retired from the unit, man? What's been going on?
So when I just retired, I was, what was that? School was on my ass. A lot of testing, especially the SATs. That was pressuring me a lot. But ever since then, things have been all right. Not great, but I'm on the come up. Trying to find a job now. Other than that, I've just been chilling on my desk doing God all nothing. So, but it's been relaxing.
Yeah, I can only imagine from going squad leading and going from mechie to infantry and then dealing with school stuff. Yeah, the transition's got to be pretty vast.
Yeah, it very much was.
Beyond school stuff, I mean, the biggest question, we'll just get right into it, is, are you looking to come back to service anytime in the future, or you think you're pretty much good with what you've got out of Arma experience?
I would say I'd be coming back, but not anytime soon. Not within like the next 2 months or something like that. Maybe by like the end of the year, or maybe a little bit into the intro of next year. But right now, I am just kind of like taking a break on most stuff, just relaxing. That's pretty much it. I'm not doing much. But I do plan on coming back at some point in the future.
Yeah, when you come back, we got a whole little mechie team up and going. I know that's what you left us with, so I hope you're excited to kind of see what comes back, and how things have changed.
Most definitely. I've heard good things overall so far over the new element.
What are your thoughts on I'm glad. Well, number one, I'm glad that you're thinking to come back. That's good. That means we're doing something right. But what are your kind of thoughts on Lambert and Mechanized? How that's all what you've heard and seen as things have kind of progressed since you stepped away? Because you were the head, and essentially one of your juniors is now taking your post for the time being in that kind of leadership spot. What are your kind of thoughts on everything involving that and the transition of the unit?
So far, from what I've heard and a little bit of seen, is he's doing phenomenal. As a junior as he is now, it's fantastic. Honestly, who was it? Me, Ark, and Karsten. I feel like we've all given each other enough knowledge and information to pass down to Lambert, especially being kind of fairly new ever since the transition over to this mechanized element again. He's been killing it. I look forward to seeing him. I'm not sure how to put it. I don't know, just grow entirely. I don't know, but so far from what I'm seeing, he's doing great.
I kind of get what you're saying here. I will say, especially from a command purview, like the Lambert now versus the Lambert a year ago is like night and day. It's kind of crazy seeing the difference in what, like, again, tooting our own horn, but it's like what leadership and like what Milsim for some people will do for them is kind of weird.
I
definitely.
Yeah, I thoroughly believe in the whole "you are who you hang out with," and it kind of makes me pretty happy, knowing that we can be kind of the people that sets up. And I don't know, it's not like we're hanging out with them all the time, right? We're just gaming with them. But even just that interaction and the support of his development of his character,
it's more of like a
kind of puts him into exactly. Puts him into how he is today. I hope he's using that kind of leadership style and stuff, and or lessons learned kind of thing from here, like in his actual life too. Because I mean, for all cases and purposes, leadership in the unit is leadership skills. You have to be able to take people under your charge, and make them want to stay under your charge, which is the important one.
I will say it's nice having the issue. Oh, what's up, Sage? And we got Anderson in the chat as well. How you boys doing? What do you say? You all set up a small base for them to grow upon, allows younger kids to get into the mindset of, hey, maybe the way I talk and the way I do things do matter a little bit. Yeah, 100%, man.
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, that's so something we've kind of said, maybe not from the get-go. I'd say like a year and a half ago now was, in terms of setting the 13th up for longevity, I mean, like the 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds are going to kind of be the basis of the unit's longevity, not saying I'm old, but a good chunk of the unit is pretty mature, right? But
I'm old.
If it gets to that point where I would need to step away, especially for my first few years as an officer, it'd be good knowing that there's capable hands and some younger peeps that'll have a lot more time than I will in terms of that availability and mindset. It'll always be good. With that, Dubs isn't here to kind of be our card master, so I'm kind of taking that post up. So I guess this will just go back into Crusader, and we'll go from Crusader up. But can you talk about a time when you worked with other units or elements with the 13th, and how you thought the collaboration went, whether it was good or bad?
Well, that's a good question.
Oh God, yeah. That's a loaded question, Cap.
Oh yeah, that's the
yeah, it
point.
is.
That's the point. I
You're
want to
gonna
get some
us heated,
details.
bruh.
Let's get some details, man.
That went well.
Oh, good or bad.
The only time I'm probably thinking of is my early stages. So for a little bit of context, I was here last year and back in, I think, February of 22.
Mm-hmm. If you and him away.
Yep, I was here a while back, and then I left after like a month. Came back. My first op coming back as a private, it was on NAMP. It was one of the armor pushes.
On
It
NAMP.
was, yeah. Yeah, my very first op. It was, we had our own Vix. We had that like one driver mod or something like that. I don't know, or an AI assigned to us. And we had an AI drive around, and we were just gunning and running. What was it? I'm trying to think about it. The coordination between infantry and armor was probably the best I've seen. It was better than, honestly. I'm gonna be honest. It's a lot better then than it was now. At least. It was 4 Abrams, if I remember correctly. 4 Abrams and like 2 squads of infantry, something like that. And the coordination between the infantry and armor being like, hey, get the hell out of my way kind of thing, or keeping your distance. That coordination was, I think, phenomenal. And yeah, I don't know.
It had to have been 23. I don't know about 22.
Yeah, my bad. This was 23.
Yeah. I'm trying. I was like, damn, 22? I didn't think you were working with vehicles in 22.
No, my bad. Yeah, this was in 23. But yeah, my first op coming back was just that first op. I don't know. That still sticks to me. That was like one of the best moments I've had with ground element and armor specifically. And yeah, I don't think I've had like any other good moments. Maybe the occasional random PFC or private running in front of a Vic or standing in front of the tank barrel gun or something. Yeah. And just getting that,
overpressured.
Yeah.
Get out of the way, you fucking idiot.
Yeah. And they're yelling at me, and I'm like, buddy, I don't want to hear it.
The cannon goes off, and all of a sudden that guy's like, "Oh, my bones feel kind of funny."
Yeah, feel squishy.
I don't hear anything anymore.
Guys, I'll have water in my ears. Just
yeah.
Yeah, that would be your skull, Private. That'd be your skull. Like, fucking. Nah, I think. Actually, I think I know the reason for that, Crusader. Why it was like so good was because that was kind of when Ark took over the initial sightings of like Mechie when the unit was going through its like revamp period, and at the same time when Ark took over, not to toot Ark's horn too much, but when he took over, y'all also had like 10 active people for like the first 2 months of Mechie being around. So like people were there and training and stuff, and then it kind of remember it fizzling out. It was so weird too because we had like just opened armor, and then boom, just all these people appeared, and it was like, all right, where the fuck? And then they all disappeared again, and now it's back, and it's just back and forth since then. Ace,
What was the exact question again?
So the question was, can you describe a time or talk about a time when you worked with other units or other elements and how that collaboration went, whether good or bad?
Oh, okay. So, uh, so there's this unit called the 71st. I think we've mentioned them occasionally, or one time before. Interesting group of people. We were in contacts and then we worked with them a lot, and just over a while our relations derailed with them. But I remember we had a huge join up with, I don't even know how many other units, but it was them, us. We were the two big forces, and then there was like two other groups, I think.
No,
And-
it's just those two. The other units came after that.
Oh no!
No,
Remember,
there-
it was
there
on
was, like-
Wake.
Yeah, there was like 3 units there.
Yeah,
Wait,
it
what?
was. Yeah, no, the 71st. I don't know if you were privy to it, Cyber, but the 71st had like, so it was us, the 71st, the goat people or whatever the fuck they were called, the PMC guys, the Ghost Company, and then there was like 5 mini units as well of like
Oh.
5 or 10 people. It was weird. I found that out after the op.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I'm finding that out now, and it's been like a year.
Yeah, so going into that, it was like, wow, damn. At the time, I was a squad leader, and the slots we were given, there wasn't enough for me to join, or for my squad to join in. And so I just told them to join this other slot. And then later on, they were like, hey, can you get your guys out of this slot and all that and shit? Because this was made for us. I'm like, nah, that's for my guys. You all should have planned better. Price got a little mad at me for that, but I prioritized my guys before another units. But the whole thing was such a shit show. The settings weren't set correctly during the night phase. I couldn't even get in because their server couldn't handle that many people. I tried for like, I think 2.5 hours or something to actually load in, because it said it was 120 slots, but
Yeah.
it could only really facilitate 60 people in the server at one time. So like anytime someone like disconnected, if they couldn't get back in because someone else took their slot.
Yep.
Yeah, because you were in my stream the entire time.
Yeah, pretty much. 'Cause that's the only way I could view the op.
And you were talking shit the entire time.
Hell yeah. Because all those other units, because we're better than them. We're better than every other unit out there. And just seeing the stuff that I was seeing and hearing, especially the stuff about the settings not being correct during the night phase, was like baffling to me. And I don't remember exactly all of it, but I remember we had to go help those other units a lot when we were moving through the island. So
We had to do a lot of hurry up and wait because they were clearing the when we did that initial landing, we were tasked with the east side and north side depending on how the island turned. So we did a lot of overlap, like holding while they were clearing houses and stuff. So they were pretty slow in terms of tempo. Yeah, jeez, God, I almost forgot about that, to be honest. It was such a fucking what a weird memory working with those units, dude. It was a funny and great and horrible time.
yeah.
I
Another
still
bonus
remember-
Another bonus one is that on NAMP we were working with these army guys, like these special forces people. They thought they were the shit.
Pathfinder, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I don't like particularly working with other units, so it wasn't a good experience anytime I've worked with other units.
I still remember on that same op flying I was flying the F-18 for us, me and Dubs were. And I had requested this SAM site that was right on the front line to get taken down like 4 times to the 71st guys. And they just would not push up. Like it was maybe only like, because they set it up a little bit like trench warfare in some spots with like berms and stuff that was like reinforced by wood planks. And so, like, the SAM site was kind of protected from infantry until they moved on to the objective, and then they could take it out. But they were just sitting in their, like, little foxholes and stuff and behind their trenches and was not moving anywhere. And so eventually, I just got tired of that and did a 20 mil gun run, like, maybe within 40 meters of where they were sitting to kill the SAM site, because it was already out of rockets. It fired all over. It had spent its entire ammo capacity firing at me and Dubs, and so it was just pinging our radar over and over and over again. And I really just did it out of being annoyed with the pinging in my ear every like second. It was annoying, and I don't know how they felt about that, but I don't know how you take more than like 30 minutes to take, 20 yards of land. Like, it's awful.
I will say it was a shitty and great experience for me, because when we did that initial landing and we had the fucking Terminator AI, I just remember like a little bit of shit talk that they had, and then once the settings were fixed, everything was perfectly fine. And somehow, as a guest unit, I just was given complete ground control of all these different ground task elements. And I was like, okay. And the tempo completely changed, and I don't know what it was, but I was like, man, I don't know why we were going so slow, but now we're fucking cooking, But
well, that's because I don't know why there was shit talk happening, because everyone was getting destroyed when the settings weren't right, and we was against the Terminator AI. But then as soon as it got to settings that that are playable, they were still getting their shit pushed in, and we started moving. So I don't know, kind of odd thing to talk shit about, but I think it's funny.
But hey, it totally rolls back to the whole, like, I never met a group who talks so much shit and sucks dick as equally, like, especially when it came to like just how we ran our unit and how it worked, and like everything, to attendance, to staff sections, to like NCOs actually being delegated like responsibility. It I don't know, it just blew their minds. And then you had the whole fucking Civil War incident thing where they just half their unit broke off to become fucking weird ass CIA dudes. That was so weird. What a waste.
Yeah, that same op, I ended up being in charge of all the medical people, because like HM2 Canada was supposed to be the main corpsman in charge of everybody, and he's like, "Oh yeah, well we'll use 7.5 just like the 13th does, so that way we can all communicate with each other and stuff." And he just got so overwhelmed with the radio that he's like, "White, just take over. You're used to this more than I am." And
Dude, we just all, because I'm pretty sure Dubs took over air. Were we just running that whole thing?
pretty much.
Oh my god.
But yeah,
It
it's
seems
like, and then like before the op, like the 71st did not use Cat Medical, so I got with them, and I gave every one of their guys our corpsman training, and they were like, "Why are we doing this? This is so much more complicated." And Canada was like, "This is so much more in depth and immersive that it's better for everybody." And like, "Oh, we're not gonna be able to get people up in like 5-10 minutes. We're not gonna be able to." I'm like, my guys average 2 to 3 minutes. So you guys want to do these transfers and medevac and stuff, you guys don't need to. If you do this right, it's literally 5 minutes tops, somebody's down. And like, "No, that's not true, that's not true." I'm like, all right. And during the training, I had them blow one of the people up, like completely, like where we would give them a purple ribbon. I got that person up in a minute and a half, and they're like, "What?" I'm like, dude, my guys train on this every week. We know this system inside and out. If you guys just listen and do what we say, you guys can be as good as we are. And I had Cthulhu, I had Alex, I had Boss.
Oh man, that's a stacked corpsman team anyway.
Yeah.
Like, damn.
Like, and Boss, nothing against Boss, but he was the worst corpsman that we had at that time. And
He's a pretty good corpsman.
Yeah. Like, he was still getting people up 3 or 4 minutes. And he was
Our worst guy is the best guy out of like 5 units.
Yeah. It was just like mind blown. And I'm brand new to at this time. I'm still brand new to Arma.
You're probably only like 5-6 months in. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like 6 months in. Brett, like, been in leadership for like a month and a half at this point. 2 months, something like that. And I'm still flying by the seat of my pants trying to figure everything out because I was left with such a shit show. So
yeah. Casey. That's a whole thing.
Yeah, and it was just like, wow. Yeah, that right there just showed like how much we actually prepared and know our shit and train, and yeah, it's just like, and then all the interactions we've had since then, it's just like, I'm looking at it like, can these guys stack up to us? Are they at least as intelligent as us? I don't care about skill, but are they at least as intelligent as us? And 90% of the time, that from what I've seen, they're not.
It always ends up like that sometimes. I mean, it also just comes back to like, again, it just comes back to organization tempo. Like, how you start and run the unit is kind of going to be... Most people don't, when it comes to Milsim, don't stay to fix it. You know what I mean? Most Milsims, if they don't get it right the first time, they disappear or they break in half or in more pieces. And I think the 13th was just lucky that it had a dedicated core that when we did have that kind of like breaking period, I mean, shit. I mean, we were in fucking people's heads to the point you had people calling themselves 13th outcasts. Like, I'll never forget that whole thing with like, they prided themselves on not being in the unit is still a wild concept to take pride in to me.
Yeah.
But I will segue that to Cyber unless you had more white.
No, I'm done.
All right, what you got, Cyber?
Yeah, I think we're kind of covered everything. I guess to follow up on, what I would have said on there is that unit had really good leaders in it. It just wasn't led by one. I think that unit's entire problem was Tallus. Everyone else, all his NCOs, hell, even their SEA wasn't the worst guy. They were just, led by an
Loyal
idiot.
to a fault.
Yeah. But I still remember, if we're just gonna talk about it, we're gonna talk about it. All the stuff like I being in both Discords, was in a meeting with them as S2, talking about how they could set up their NCO stuff and how they could use documentation. Their staff shops is what it was. Gave them all of our docs and let them, read and set up their stuff like that. And then Tallus presented it as, his brand new idea. And I'm just like, well, that's not exactly what happened, but I always saw that kind of stuff, and it was really, really annoying.
Yeah,
But
like they were trying to copy us.
I mean, they were. We set
that's
the
fine.
example. I mean,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah,
there's no
that's-
better flattery than someone trying to mimic what we have. The only issue is Tolis. I mean, like, it sounds like we're really dragging this dude through the mud, but there's only a certain point where I'm gonna have I had a heart to heart with that dude because he was going through a rough patch. That's not something I'm gonna discuss because that's his personal stuff, because that's real shit. But like, if you're not willing to delegate and actually like believe in your junior leadership, like you're just going to like overtly work yourself and place yourself in this really pious position of authority that you will just be that tired asshole all the time. And instead of that heart to heart meaning anything, he just reverted back to what he did best, and he still lost members. So I mean, that's just kind of how the cookie crumbles.
The thing that upset me most about Tolis was when we first started talking to them about this joint op, and them saying, "Hey, we want to switch to Cat Medical," and stuff like that. I was not allowed to reach out to Canada directly. Like, he wanted it to go through COC. I'm like, and that was like Canada saying, "Hey, my cap or what." Tola said not to talk to you unless we go through the COC first. I'm like, dude, that's fucking bullshit. Like, we are both the head corpsmen for our units. We should be able to communicate with each other without going through COC, especially with me trying to help you guys learn Cat Medical. And it was just like, dude, why? Like, he had it so far up his ass that he was like, he had to control everything.
I mean, that was just one of his biggest flaws. Was he just didn't. It almost seemed like he didn't trust his own dudes. Like, I mean, granted, he had that whole incident with him and Rob, and essentially half the unit left. But
and the armor guy.
And the armored guy. But like, I don't know. It is a interesting set of circumstances that he just kept digging himself in. I wonder if that unit's even still around. Do we know?
I don't know.
Dude, I have no idea. I talked to Canada like 2 months ago to see how he was doing, and he had left the unit, and he said he had not talked to anybody from that unit at all. So yeah, I was like,
Huh.
like, he said that he's pretty much retired from Arma, everything. And
I mean, when you deal with someone like that because their unit had been around for, when we had met them, 2 years at that point.
yeah, and I know when like he first left, he was thinking about coming over and joining us. And then for some
That would have
reason,
been a lot of drama for him, though.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was like we had to put a stop to it because a lot of people were talking about doing it, and we said just hold off on a little bit or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. And
Boy, it would have just looked like we were just directly poaching from you.
yeah, it was. We didn't want that image. So
But now,
I was like, just wait. Like, I told him, wait like 2 months and then come on over. Let the drama die down, all that shit. And he said that he's pretty much retired. I should have told him, if you ever come back to Arma, you have a spot here on 13th with Corpsman, no matter what. Because he was a good Corpsman. And he was a good leader from what I could see. He was just not... It was not handled properly, and he didn't have the control that he needed to have. Like, when I became platoon corpsman, you guys kept an eye on me for a while, just because, one, I was new to the unit, 2, new to leadership for the Milsim, and 3, I was friends with Casey. So you guys
that was really what it was.
That was the big one.
the one.
Like I said, those were the 3 main reasons why. And after a while, you guys just like let me do my thing, and look how the corpsmen are now. Like, last off, we had 3 deaths, and our threshold was 20.
Yeah, dude. Y'all keep those fuckers alive.
I think out of the last 4 ops, the highest death count we've had was 7. So, I mean, I must be doing something right because our death counts are extremely low.
I'll fix that.
Fuck you,
Don't worry.
Cyber. Fuck you.
All right. So I guess not to loop around in circles too much about that, but let's push on and see what soccer's got. What you got, Bubba?
I've never done a joint op with the unit, so we can talk about like elements within the unit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I work with S6 like every op, and they make my life so much easier. Shout out to the JTAX. Help me out a lot and help him out a good bit.
Yogi sucks.
Yeah, Yogi, if you're seeing this, you're not a real bear.
Yeah.
I know the truth.
Call chart.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, there's good experiences every op, but it's like not the same, but the same, if that makes sense. It's not anything crazy.
It's your
I
team.
mean, yeah, I had a funny experience. I watched Yogi get jumped a few ops ago.
What?
Yeah, he got
He went-
jumped.
Yeah, he went down and saw like 4 dudes around him. I was like, oh yeah, that'll do it.
That'll do it, Bubba. You just watch from the cockpit like that's a shame.
Damn, like
He was off
could shoot
by
a missile,
himself.
but
He was off by
could shoot a
himself.
missile, but kill him. Yeah,
He-
he was bringing up the back line.
Yep. So like I didn't know he was down or nothing, cause he does what he does. He's off by himself most of the time. So
S6 is a tricky place because like you're kind of on your own, and you're kind of not supposed to be, but you kind of are allowed. So it's just
You're
up to
supposed
the
be
fate.
with the platoon element.
A lot of times he'll be like, "Hey, can you watch me for a minute? I'm about to go over here and do some stuff." We're like, "Yeah." Didn't ask us to watch him that time.
Yeah, silly little goober. Tricks are for kids.
Silly JTAX.
yeah, if you're watching it, it's like the next time he does that and you're watching him, hop on 7.5 to let me know where he's at so I can at least try to get to him before he dies.
Will do.
Honestly, a good default net for Tuma would probably be the Corman net.
Yeah.
You already
Oh.
have 3 channels.
I'm saying in terms of worst case scenario default, but I'm not saying like on average default. Like for whatever reason, the JTAX and ROs aren't getting back to you. You're like, oh shit, okay, what's going on? Like, what's
Are they
happening?
dead? I thought
Are
JTAX
they
never
dead?
died.
Why you dead? But I digress.
All them muscles for what?
Just to get fucked up by a 7.62 full. All right, that leads us kind of into the next question here. Back to Crusader. How has being a part of the unit helped you develop your leadership skills in Arma and in real life? If you can share personal examples.
Personal examples, yeah, I'll keep that out. But confidence, the amount of confidence I have gotten over time has significantly increased. I went from like just like not be able to do anything for in real life, just not be able to do anything because without any like confidence that I'll succeed or something like that, or actually doing on a decent level. My standards were just, very below. So most definitely confidence and I'm not sure how to. In short, making a decision rather than not making a decision. That also changed a lot because I would just do nothing about certain stuff, just sit there and complain about it, instead of actually doing something about it, whether it be right or wrong. Most definitely over time, yeah. Those are the 2 main ones I've gotten. for Milsim. Surprisingly, over Milsim, confidence and a sense of direction. Call it. I mean, and then like leadership wise, I would say just aggressiveness. I've always played the defensive. Like defense is my best offense, but I like to adapt to being severely aggressive.
Hell yeah, man. White, did you want to say something before you head out, or?
Yeah, like so, as most as everybody know, I was an HM1 in the Navy, so I had the leadership skills. But since I've been out, I really haven't had to use them because civilian life sucks ass. This
No translation.
no translation at all, and like getting in the Milsim and stuff, it helped me bring those skills back and figure out how I can actually use them in civilian life. It's like with this job I'm at now, like I'm now pretty much like the assistant manager of my unit. That's why I've got to go here in a few minutes because I got to go do shift change. It's like I have people from different elements come to me asking me for help, like with leadership stuff, questions like that. Just because it's like since I taken over as corpsman, head corpsman, it's my leadership stuff has come back gradually, and eventually to the point where you guys have said, "Yo, this guy needs to be in command," and now I'm here because of that. So yeah.
Hell yeah, man. I know you said you got to step away probably after this, so we'll see you in a little bit as you head over to work, man.
Yep, I'll be back probably about a half hour.
All right, word. Ace.
I'm sorry. I get. Can you repeat the question again? I
Yeah,
understand the
so
lines of it. I just want more specific.
how has being part of the unit helped you develop your leadership skills, whether that be it in Arma 3 or in real life
Oh,
personal
man.
experience? Or any also personal examples that you could provide?
Yeah. Shit. That is a tough question to answer. So, I can't really. As my time in the unit, I don't never really noticed a change in just the leadership and all that. I feel like, at least, I don't know. Maybe as just being me, and I see myself every day, and I know myself or whatever. I don't see a progression or whatever. It just kind of happens, and I don't realize it. But I definitely do think just being in the unit has made me a better leader in Arma, whether that be tactics, personnel management, stuff like that. But with real life, funny enough, I'm almost confident if I could put in like a team lead role at my current job, I would be a-okay because of the unit, and also because I was given a task to reorganize a section of the store, and I basically just got a couple of people, and I was just given the reins on it. And I think I was only able to do that because of my time in the unit.
Hell yeah,
And
man.
that experience. So, yeah, I do have to say, I think the 13th MU does give you actual experience of leadership. that
Hell
can
yeah.
be applied to places.
Dubs, welcome, Captain Dubs. Finally made it back.
Hello. Hi. Hello, everyone.
Yeehaw. We're just on our second question. I'll go ahead and let Cyber and Soccer finish theirs out, and I'll give you the two that we just covered, so kind of catch on in with everybody.
Yeah, all right. Sounds good.
And then I'll hand the questionnaire stuff back over to you. But Cyber, what you got, Bubba?
I think most of what I've improved on in the unit and stuff has been like direct tasking from you. My tactfulness is probably what I've learned the most from the unit. It's just because you kind of made that a requirement for me, and Hope that I'm doing better. Feel like I'm doing better. I don't usually chew people's head off at the first chance I get anymore. But I think obviously, you know, being military, a lot of my leadership knowledge and stuff kind of comes from that. But how I just how I go about presenting that kind of leadership style and stuff like that has become a lot more tactful now, thanks to the unit. But yeah, I think that's about it.
All right.
On one part.
Soccer. What you got?
I'd say being able to like have like hard conversations with people. Like gave out a few months ago, and I kind of like go into detail. First in JP, it's like you don't want to be like the bad guy to somebody else, but sometimes you have to be the guy to like correct the shit. And I feel like that definitely just helped me, because I mean, like, I don't like to be seen like the bad guy. So usually I'm a nice guy, pretty easy guy, you know, not gonna try to ruffle feathers where they don't need to be ruffled, but like having hard conversations with people, and then being able to like take criticisms and things you need to improve on. That, I mean, I've always had to deal with like, criticism stuff from football and stuff like you have to get better at this, or you won't play. So I mean, that I feel like that comes from that, but that also translates here. It's like if you keep fucking this up on landings, or you keep doing this while flying, you're gonna keep dying and crashing and look like a monolith. As White leaves audio issues.
No.
It might like, need a second to level out or something.
Yeah, I think it just needs a second.
Well, let us know if it's good, guys. Like when it's good.
As we kind of sit here and get back into control of it. Let's see.
Yeah, control.
I think it's good now. I mean, it sounds good. Yeah, go ahead, Soccer.
Oh no, I mean that's really all I had. Just tough conversations, and then taking criticism and responding to it. Not, man, fuck that guy. He just said I need to fix this.
All right, man. Dubs, catch you up here. So the question that we're answering now is, how has being a part of the unit helped you develop your leadership skills? Whether that was through Arma 3 or a personal like IRL experience. If you have any personal examples. And then I'll ask the next question for you once you go through that one.
Oh man. I mean, I think if anything, I didn't learn anything new per se, but it reinforced things that I already knew from being in the Air Force, being a leader in the Air Force. Basically, just how it having to work with various people, different personality traits and types, and conveying whatever sort of message I'm trying to convey, whether that be informative or saying, hey, you fucked up, this is how not to fuck up again, type thing. So if anything, just the 13th more or less reinforced that.
Kind of basically the same for you, White and Cyber. And the question that you had missed out on was, can you talk about a time when you had worked with other units or other elements in the 13th, and how did that collaboration go, whether it was good or bad?
Well, I was listening while I was driving home, and the topic of the 71st was up, so I'm not going to beat that dead horse. We all know how we feel about the 71st. Other elements. I mean, Tuma and the JTAX is a big one. They make our lives easier. We make their lives easier, and in turn makes the ground's life easier. Corpsman. I mean, the Corpsman, pilots have to be Corpsman qualified in the event that we go down. We have to fix ourselves or fix each other instead of waiting for Corpsman to show up. So there's a lot of collaboration there between Tuma and the Corpsman. Tuma and the Zeuses. There's been some collaboration there with figuring out what Tuma can do, whether that be restricted to the mission or doing little side one-off missions for the Bravo Company. Other than that, not a whole lot. Nothing else really sticks out.
Okay. So that brings that kind of full circle to everything. So, Dubs, what questions do you have for Crusader and the board? Beat Crusader.
Are there any upcoming events, operations, or projects that are you particularly excited about?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't know what way you want to go in this, but yeah.
Honestly, I got a sneak peek into it a little bit. I'm not gonna go too much in depth, but a particular op. I mean, I really have no say on it. I mean, I'm not really that active, but I mean, I'll pop in a few times or two. I'm not sure, but I know there's just this one particular op that I would be probably interested in. I mean, yeah, that's all really I got.
Ace?
Kind of what Crusader was saying. I mean, I don't have anything really in mind other than our future ops and the coming campaign. As AA, I like to keep myself out of the story stuff, but there's just some stuff that I'm curious to know of or just have to know. So the stuff I do know, I'm excited for, and stuff I don't know, I'm really excited for. So yeah, just the upcoming story, I guess, is what I'm excited for.
Yeah, you think, Cap, you think we can just, formally announce what our next campaign's gonna be? I mean, people are kind of already drawing conclusions to it.
Yeah, but it's like a good,
It's only 3 weeks out.
Yeah, but I'm talking about it'd be like a good story. You figure it out for yourself or whatever, you know? And if you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, you're wrong. So let them speculate their stuff. I think you'd make it more, instead of spoiling it, just let it play out.
It's not spoiling it, it's just announcing it. But, I mean, yeah, I guess if all y'all feel that way, it makes sense. Okay. Never
I don't know
mind
what
then.
Cap said. That's just my feeling. Haiti humanitarian ops knew it. Anderson.
That's
Yep.
yeah. That's it.
Nail on
That's
the
what
head.
Haiti.
Yeah,
Nail
No,
on the
but
head.
we've been working a lot on the next campaign, and I think it's gonna be quite a jump in difficulty. We also have a new mod that we're gonna be introducing probably after this week. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the mod list. We're gonna be adding like a mod that adds functioning boats, like ships. So like it adds like working destroyer class, Sea Wolf class submarines, and so we're gonna have a lot more, working support from our fleet. It's gonna be very, very cool. Very excited about that. Also learning about it. This will be the first time I have to like actually learn about a mod in a long time, because I tried messing around with some of them. I have no idea how these things work. So, I think that's going to be excited, like diving in and actually getting to learn some stuff in Arma again is what I'm really excited about. Because, after 6,000 hours, like those opportunities get, kind of, I mean, there's always room to learn, but sometimes you really have to dig for what you can truly actually learn about once you get to those kind of hours. So I think that's probably what I'm most excited about going forward.
Well, it happened like 2 weeks ago, 2 or 3 weeks ago, but we finally implemented Hatchet after many long months of trying to get it in. It's something I really enjoy using, and some of the other rotary guys really enjoy using as well. And I think it'll expand Tuma's like rotary sections ability to do things like ISR, different armaments, and stuff like that. But like that was something I was super excited about, and then just upcoming ops. Just want to see what the story does, where it takes us.
For me, well, I want to see how the story wraps up. We're kind of getting to our culmination event, and then excited to see. Excited to see what the PLA's Air Force looks like. We've been kind of teased it a little bit, but looking to see like what the full strength of it is, to see how much they're going to test us.
Oh, so I can announce it.
We already know. We all know it's PLA.
Sure
At
about
this
that?
point, at this point, all you have to say is it's the PLA. But come on.
I don't know, man.
I don't know, that Haiti.
Yeah,
Haiti
Haitian
mission sound
humanitarian
interesting,
ops.
Dude, the Haiti military, have you been looking on the news lately? They've been stocking up.
Get ready to run resupplies across the map in Humvees. Convoy ops, here we go.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't want to spoil it, but that's what we're doing, guys. We're doing humanitarian work. No enemies, no combat, just maybe the angry civilian. That's it. That's the next campaign. Hope y'all are gonna enjoy it.
Angry civilian.
We're gonna be doing team building and morale exercises.
Yeah, since y'all don't show up to Friday trainings, next deployment is a training cycle. Welcome to 29 Palms, everybody.
We're going stateside, boys.
Actually,
Nope.
is there
Nope.
is there a 29 Palms map?
There is a 29
Yes.
Palms map.
Oh
Is
yeah.
it bad or is it good?
No, it's actually really good. I thought about we looked at it while looking. So I remember it. So it looks nice from the air, but then when you actually start looking around and stuff, it's so empty. It's so
Man, it is a
empty.
desert,
Like, and there's
right?
buildings. There's buildings that are like halfway stuck in the ground, so they're the actual height that they're. The person went for like ultra realism, and didn't care that it was Arma when he was doing it. Yeah. So it's more of a, oh yeah, this is exactly 29 Palms, not this is playable 29 Palms, So one of those kind of things. But anyway, yeah.
Gotcha ops. Gotcha campaigns.
Gotcha campaigns. Hell yeah, brother.
Cap is away, but he said his I'm sure his sentiment is the same as to what Cyber said as far as what he's looking forward to. So we'll just press on.
Mm-hmm. All right, well, the next question there, Dubs.
How does the command staff handle feedback from lower enlisted members and provide examples of any implemented changes that have been suggested by them?
Oh,
That's like hard to remember the exact ones, I would say.
oh,
So,
I don't know
Crusader,
this
what have
is-
you seen that was suggested by the general populace that command staff implemented?
what was it? There's probably been a couple things, but it's like going over my head. Maybe it was the Thursday operation, those recon stuff. We got feedback from lower enlisted and changed up Thursdays or something like that. If I could be wrong, but that's I think the closest thing I can probably think about is Thursday changes. It was more like force recon kind of thing rather than what do we get? We got rid of MARSOC or something like that. Yeah, I think that's the only thing I could probably think about.
All right, Ace.
Like I was saying, it's really hard to remember stuff in specific. But I guess to answer how we handle it, depending on the suggestion, it's maybe like an addition, like a mod or whatever. Obviously, goes through like S3 ticket, or it needs to be presented to Cyber, or let's say a new SOP recommendation, or it's like, hey, we should do this instead, or whatever. For example, we'll talk about it. And if we've just been aware of it before, we'll be like, no, we won't do that because we know it won't work in our unit, for example. Or it just doesn't fit in how we do stuff. And unfortunately, that is a lot of the stuff we're presented with. In my opinion, in the unit right now, we're kind of in a point where there's not a whole lot of room for like additions, if you know what I mean. Like all of our SOPs, a lot of our stuff is kind of, not gonna say set in stone, but in place. So there's not a lot of room to make new stuff. And a lot of stuff we do get is either redundant or just kind of adding to a place where it doesn't need stuff added. So basically tell the person or loan listed, for example, or even NCO, be like, hey, the reasons why it wouldn't work or why we won't do it. And then it goes from there.
Cyber.
I guess maybe I remember more, but I feel like there's a lot of stuff that we changed. We've changed how the awards work based on feedback from the surveys and stuff. So now it's a lot less paperwork, and the on GWI nights, the ones that get presented are the ones that are done with merit, I guess. So like the ones that we don't go through like time and grade stuff and whatnot anymore. We changed the we got rid of the leadership evals based on people's requests from the surveys and stuff like that, and just kind of like that people just catering to people's wants. We have several operational changes have been made. Just how the Zeus acts during an op, whether it's like less AI control or different settings or any of that kind of stuff, that's been brought to light and changed. We've changed I had another thought and it just left me. Oh man, come on. But yeah, I think there's a lot of changes that have been made. Almost all of the things that we say that we're working on, like my tactfulness and the other kind of stuff, how we've been utilizing leadership and stuff like that, that all comes from usually survey things, and then, you know, Yoshi will or Cap will put together like a, hey, this is what we need to work on based on what people are saying, and that's where that comes from. So your command's leadership development comes from, you know, feedback. All that kind of stuff is used from, got rid of a website, because where it looked really cool and stuff, but it was a lot of extra work and a lot of redundant work. So, you know, the rewards from Thursday Ops. Yeah. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that come from feedback, and that's why when we put out the surveys, like, please take a part of those. These questions came from the survey. So, so feedback is super important to the command team, and we operate in the confines of feedback at almost all times. That is how we develop ourselves as a command team. That's how we develop the unit. That's how we make sure that everyone in the unit is having the kind of experience they want to have. And that's like super important to us. So, yeah, I think, you know, in a grand scheme of thing, the easy answer to that question is everything. Everything you see in the unit is based on feedback. That's just how it is ran.
Me? All right. Well, I'm pretty new to command staff.
Yeah,
but
nerd.
I will say, I went through some of the survey stuff with Dubs a while back, and some people had brought up like they don't really know who command staff is. Like, they're just the command staff. They don't really know them outside of Arma. And I've noticed we'll be in the chow halls more, you know, hanging out, being more active, and then the podcast. Like, people were, would you want to watch a podcast? People said yes, doing a podcast, and this also helps people understand and know who we are as people, not just Second Lieutenant Soccer. You know what I mean? But yeah, probably have more from me in the future on stuff that I've seen, just because I haven't been in command staff for 3 weeks, something like that.
Almost a month.
Almost a month. You know, I'm getting there.
You're getting there, bub.
Got my bar.
Yeah. Kind of like Cyrus said, I mean, everything that you've seen that we've implemented or proposed has come from feedback. And also, you know, seconding Cyber, like, when the survey comes out, take it. It's not just something to eat up, you know, 5-10 minutes of your time. Like, it's stuff that we put out to, like, we want to know what everyone thinks. We want to know what we can work on. And the survey is a tool to do that anonymously. And I make it a point to keep it anonymous because, I don't know, you know, I'm not saying that it's the case, but maybe there's some people that don't feel like they can come talk to us for, you know, any multitude of reasons. And the survey being anonymous is their outlet. As far as something specific, the rotation of Friday trainings was a big one that was brought up during a survey. So back in the day, Friday trainings were just that. They were trainings. You showed up, trained, and left. Now we have the rotation of platoon, squad level, and an FTX. That was something that came from feedback, and we implemented it, and it works. It broke up the monotony of just show up and train.
I think that might have been the single most, like, one of the single most affected things by the surveys was, like, Friday as a whole. Like, it, like you said, Dubs, it used to be like you just showed up and trained, but like they're completely different in terms of like everyone would go train for like an hour, and then you would have to come back in like an hour and 10, 20 minutes to like debrief out. And we don't debrief out anymore. You just debrief when you're done with whatever you were set you were going to do. And then you have like the rotation of the squad, platoon, and FTXs. Now, granted, you can't really do the platoon stuff all the time because you don't really get a platoon to train with. So in almost 9 times out of 10, we'll revert back to squad level training or qual stuff. But I don't, until we reach that height of membership, I don't have an issue with it, you know, because as long as training is getting done, I think it still answers that. But yeah, I think in terms of some crazy changes would be to the Fridays and how they operate as a whole.
Yeah, for sure. Cap, for you, the question was, how does the command staff handle feedback from lower enlisted members? Provide examples of implemented changes.
How do they help?
How do we handle feedback?
I mean, I guess generally speaking, the feedback is nominally supposed to be a very tactful kind of endeavor. I will say that every member of command is human, and all of us have had our instances of like fault, because no one's perfect. And I think the greatest example of something like that would be when we get brand new people to the unit who bring ideas that we've heard before, and maybe they don't know that we've heard a million times, but they bring it up and we're really quick to dismiss them, which is kind of a lose-lose situation, because one, it makes the member feel like we aren't listening, but at the same time it kind of comes back to the we have a system and it works. You know what I mean? I feel like we've all kind of had that instance when it came to general member feedback. I mean, I used to add every single person who became a member of the unit to my friends list, and I don't do that anymore because it would just openly invite people to message me about Milsim shit, and it doesn't matter how many times you tell certain people, they'll just be like, oh, he's the CO, he'll just know, so I'm gonna ask him anyway. And that kind of for a little bit made me a bitter person, to the point where I've been able to like self evaluate and grow from that. So I guess the surveys have been able to help me self evaluate in that respect. And I think we really toe that line of it's so hard to explain, but I'm going to try to. You got to toe the line of we have a kind of like set in place organization that makes changes when necessary, or if the person requesting a change gives a valid, real argument. You know, like if you just come to us and you bitch about something because some other unit did it better, to be blunt, no one's gonna really fucking care, right? But if you come to us and you're like, hey, this is how we would do it, this is the training scheme, this is the SOP or the doc that I have, this is a little presentation I've got, and this is why we could use it, and this is how it'll help the unit rather than hinder the unit. If you come at it from that angle, obviously we're a lot more privy to hear it out, and that's assuming that it even makes it all the way up to command. You know, it's just more, it's a more valid argument, and obviously most people in ARMA aren't used to that method because, oh well, they didn't listen to me, so I guess fuck command staff. And it's not that, it's just you aren't the first new person, and you won't be the last new person. So we've always got to kind of keep that weighted, like, neutral tempo of, hey, I hear you and I appreciate you, but I've heard this 1,000 times and we've done it a couple times before and it doesn't work. And if that upsets you to the point where you think we aren't listening, maybe we are and we just know what we're talking about, or this isn't the unit for you. You know what I mean? And that's the real, what I've learned from the surveys is there's been so many things that we have all read through there that have been repeat stuff, where even though, you know, we kind of might skim by it, we still evaluate it, you know? No matter how many times we've heard it, we will still sit as command and evaluate, hey, this is brought up again. Should we, you know, get some feedback from the staff NCOs, the NCOs, the junior leadership, the junior NCO, the junior enlisted? So I think weighing that all in is kind of bringing command staff down to earth, but still holding firm on, like, this is the unit, this is how it's organized, and we need to constantly weigh and set the tempo of this is how it's run, this is how it's managed. There's still the ability to change and develop, but it's not always going to happen, and you're not always going to get your way. Just like how it won't always stay the same, I think, are some of the biggest outcomes of the surveys and that realization as leadership on the command level.
Something you brought up kind of reminded me of yet another thing that was, you know, definitely the entirety of S6 and the MOS of JTAC came from a member's feedback that's no longer here. But without that, we were very against JTAC positions. We didn't find them necessary. Now I don't know how we operate without them. So, I mean, like, that, even stuff like that comes from feedback. It's just well-constructed feedback is what it needs to be.
Dude,
Oh, I don't like this. And then with no solution, we're just going to be like, damn, that sucks, I guess. You know, but when you raise an issue with a potential solution that, you know, is backed by stuff that you've looked into and you've done the legwork to look into how to give feedback efficiently, then now we're kind of all ears. You know what I mean?
Tubbs, do you have something?
Yeah, I was gonna say, there's times where I'll think back to, like, my first year here, or, well, the time between I joined and when Yogi came, where I'll think about how we did call-ins for strikes and whatnot, and it's like night and day. Like, I don't think we could have ever lasted it up till now doing it the old way. Nor do I think we could ever go back to that.
Yeah, I agree. I think something that's really sad, though, is, like, when it comes to the surveys, we had, what, 20?
This last time around, 16.
Yeah. And I think at the time we were pushing like 50, 51 members, at least active.
Something like that. 48.
Yeah, I think the only thing that kind of sucks is, you know, and the only way we could really convey it is through here and through the 13th announcements, you know, every 2 months, is like only a quarter of the unit on average seems to really, like, invest into the survey. So it's such a wide gap of these are the people who are actually saying something, and then there's 3/4 of the whole unit that could love the way it is, agree with the changes some other people posted, or absolutely despise something that we do, but they won't take 10 minutes to just fill it out real quick. Because we look at them. We look and review every single one. Every single survey is reviewed. All I can say is, if you can fill those out and give, like, honest feedback and criticism, like, that will always help us out, and it'll help the unit out in return. Especially with the next one coming up, because the next one coming up will be
July 1st.
And that whole week will be just kind of a continuation of the last one, where it was an evaluation of command again. So I guess we'll kind of see where all that stems from and go from there. And of course, throw in a shit ton of questions that you'll have, because we'll have that included as well as we did with this one. But
I think
I
that'll
think-
probably be a standing question from now on.
yeah,
it could be a
For the
standing
podcast
question.
questions, absolutely.
yeah, because even people who don't make these lives, I mean, people will just tune into them throughout the week now, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to take so long, but that's, I guess, my whole thing for it.
Very cool indeed. Let's see. What are the key skills that our unit prioritizes in training, and how do you see these changing in the future?
I think a lot of that comes from. I think our training comes a lot from what we're doing in ops. So, like, we're probably about to start ramping up some amphibious trainings. Like, a lot of amphibious trainings, because that's the kind of style of op we're going to be looking at soon. So, I think it's just kind of stuff like that, I think, is what really leads off our trainings and our mindset when we get to trainings.
Of
course, it's like any new quals and stuff that come out will obviously need to go through a training period and a trial period and all that kind of stuff as well.
Also, just like any of our struggles in ops too. Like, let's say we struggle with chain clearing, probably gonna do mount depending on the week. If it's like platoon or training or something like that.
I think another thing which might, I guess, could have the possibility of throwing a wrench into the style of ops we're used to is going to be heavily dependent on the environment, because the map that you said we're going to is heavily wooded. So we might have to look at some type of possible, like, jungle warfare.
Hell.
I see what you're doing there, giving some hints throughout your answer and stuff. Yeah.
I'm privy
excited
to a
about
couple
of
things, but not a lot.
I'd agree. There's gonna be some growing pains really soon. Just some interesting things. I'm excited.
Crusader, what do you think? What do you have for this one?
I'm sorry, what was the question? I don't.
What are the key skills that our unit prioritizes in training, and how do you see these changing in the future?
Shit, I don't know.
You are retired, so it's kind of
Yeah.
a hard question for him to answer.
I mean, yeah.
Could you reword it in a way that would kind of be privy to him? Ooh.
What is Mechanized going to have to change about how they operate with the upcoming campaign?
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Ooh, made me think. Let's see. Lighter armor and slowed aggression within the mechanized SOP as a whole. I'm trying to think. I'm thinking about one more thing. Damn.
Put you on the spot.
Yeah, I know, really. Yeah, slowed aggression and the inability to have, or the ability to not have always a good SBF or some sort of SBF for infantry. I don't know, at least, or adjusting to awkward environments, I would say.
Non-linear kind of
Yeah.
environments.
Yeah. not open. I'll
Yeah.
leave it like that. Yeah.
There is a question in chat for Crusader, but I'm not sure if I'm understanding it.
So, Crusader, when you retired, when you went to Cap and said, "Hey, you know, due to X, Y, and Z, I'm gonna have to retire." When you had that conversation with Cap, did you have a "what would you change" conversation? If you didn't, then what would you change? Like, say now what you would change.
Just like as a unit entirely kind of thing. That's I'm kind of interpreting as that.
Yeah, I guess.
I wouldn't change a thing, honestly. I'll leave it as it is. It is perfect. It is well oiled as it should be, and leave it as such. Yeah, do not alter what you're working on right now, as of right now. I mean, unless obviously I don't see what's going on currently within like staff shops or whatever, leadership. So I don't know what's going on through there. But when I left it then, I wouldn't change a thing. I would just leave it smooth sailing from there.
Cool.
Now we need a pyramid scheme so I can pay everybody.
Damn it.
Hell yeah.
Soccer. What do you have for that question?
Hold on 1 second, dog.
He's doing something, Bubba.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Go ahead, Dubs. I need to get my nose.
Ace.
Hmm.
What about you, boy?
Oh, I kind of already answered it earlier.
Oh, that's fair.
It was about how like our struggles and ops determine like what we do for training or whatever. That's one of the factors.
I guess you can. Who's next then?
I got you.
You're soccer, and then you, there, Cap.
Huh?
I guess for two more stuff, it's like Ace said, what we need to work on from ops. Like I'll do the AAR, usually with like Dubs, Yogi, and some of the other guys, and just see what stuff we can fix from the last op and what stuff we can get better at, and then just trying to figure out different ways
Definitely.
to be able to like utilize our assets and what they have, like doing suppression missions with the supers. Yeah, you can get kills with it, but it's mainly for area suppression while the infantry moves moves up across the map. But I mean, it really comes down to like just what came up from the last op, and then just already getting better at what we've done before. I mean, can't be the best at everything you do. You can always get better at something. That's a big thing for me and Tuma. Just find something you can get better at. And Yoshi stepped away.
Speaking on Tuma, I will say, any of my Tuma guys are listening that are fixed wing qualled, go back to carrier ops, boys.
F-18, baby!
Carrier launches and landings, and if you're flying the F-35, you got to learn how to do VTOL.
Yay. VTOL gay.
Yeah, Cap, Cyber. I think Cyber, you touched on something briefly.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm kind of blanking. Reiterate the question. Maybe they'll bring it back because I had something.
Yeah. What are the key skills that our unit prioritizes in training, and how do you see these changing in the future?
Oh yeah, okay. I didn't know if we had changed questions or not. Yeah, definitely. Just it all revolves what we need to improve on for our operations' sake. I think will always be kind of the way we lean towards with our trainings and stuff like that. And then like obviously any like new things that get added, because like I know mechanized. I don't know if y'all have heard or not. Pretty sure you have, but Marine Corps is getting some new toys, or at least the 13th is coming forward. The acquisition of the Badger fighting vehicle has been approved, so you're gonna get that upgraded cannon going from the 25 millimeter to the 30 millimeter, a speed increase as well. But you know, new challenges kind of come with a new vehicle like that, so we'll have to you know, that'll everything we learned from the LAV will have to be kind of retaught in the new system.
Yep, Anderson, RIP LAV.
It's a shame.
Cap, you here for this one? Oh no, he's muted. Alright, we'll just move on. What efforts are made to enhance unit cohesion and morale during high stress periods?
Dark humor.
Dark humor, yes.
Yes, dark humor. At least humor within regulations and anything overstepping boundaries.
If you want the dark humor, chat, join us 8.
Yeah,
Yeah, there you go.
that's what I was
Yeah.
about to say. Command memes. We can turn any bad situation into a funny.
Oh, all right. I'm sorry. I'm back.
Okay.
Greeting the woman.
I am back.
I don't know. I
Why
don't know
is that?
about saying that. For all legal purposes, that was a joke.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
plot twist. She was beating him.
So what was the greeting the woman?
It's
We all thought you said beating.
Yeah,
Oh. No, I said greeting, not beating.
No, that sounded like beating.
All right. Well, what was the question?
Oh,
Dubs?
actual
What was-
police get them.
I'll go back away.
Dubs.
Double yo.
All right. Thanks, Dubs. Anybody remember
Damn
the
it.
question?
I forgot I was on push to talk.
Oh, very good.
What are the key skills that our unit prioritizes in training, and how do you see these changing in the future? Was the question you missed?
So I think something that we will see kind of a change in. Well, something that has always changed pretty thoroughly in the unit, besides talking about basic quals and stuff, would probably be the NCO course. I think one of the most versatile things in the unit has been the leadership section of the unit, and it has always been a absolute tug of war between tactics, personal life, attendance, commitment, admin, operational ability, and time. I probably said that. I said time twice, but it's such an important position that it consistently changes with the way or the needs of the unit. And even with those consistent changes, I've almost always been happy with the end product of those who complete it through and stay NCOs. I think if there's ever a set thing that changes, it's definitely the NCO course. Like 100% the NCO course just changes all the time for the needs of the unit, whether that's through, needing more junior leadership, or, those committing to more time or voicing higher in their opinion, or just trying to lead a group of buddies. I think there's always been a pretty consistent flow of that in between. I do feel like the staff NCO core is in a real weird little lull period in terms of like duty, obligation, and activity, because you hear one thing, you get told another, and then something else is also done. But that's kind of not really a slight, but that's more of a, as the leader, I need to understand and figure out what we can do for them. And most recently, it hasn't gone into practice yet, but a newer program is going to be going into the works of the walk school, so or GWalk specifically, which is the Ground Warrant Officers program or Ground Warrant Officers course. Hopefully, that's a new avenue for the staff NCOs, because admittedly, when you are no longer that corporal or sergeant, you become a staff sergeant or a gunny. You're a supervisor. Like, you kind of get that real good in between of higher echelon meetings and command stuff. And then ultimately that means more admin work, which kind of sucks because, I mean, we've had people vehemently deny like doing admin and it just not being fun. And it sucks because that's such a killer to what we define is a Milsim organization, you know. And we've had those talks in previous episodes and we've gone into all that, but trying to kind of offer an alternate avenue besides just straight up demoting people, which, you know, some people don't care, and that's great. I think 90% of people care and are too prideful to take a demotion. So I'd rather try to offer an alternate avenue than just try to demote somebody who made it to staff NCO and give them that alternate of being promoted, but doing a horizontal move in terms of like duty and obligation. Obviously it's a lot easier to fall out of your job as what the GWalk requires of us, but yeah, I think in terms of like overall development, the leadership programs overall are just something that constantly changes and will just always need improvement and revamp and looking into, and just that perfect balancing act of too serious to too casual. It always comes back to that at the end of the day. That's it.
All right. And the next question was, what efforts are made to enhance unit cohesion and morale during high stress periods?
Crusader?
So, I've answered already. I'm not sure if y'all.
Yeah,
heard
he
that,
did.
but,
He did.
Oh, so who's the answer?
Ace.
Ace.
Okay.
Oh.
Gotta ask what the question is again.
Fuck you. I don't really know how to answer that one. I guess because I'm confused by the last part of the question, like the high stress. Like, is he talking about like in-op moments or like the state of the unit? Because I feel like that changed my answer.
Probably in op. I would probably assume.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just gonna go from in-op. So like, let's say Mask has so cohesion, let's say there's Mask has leaders. Oh, you know, this past weekend, perfect example, Blackjack lead went down, and a couple of people we had to move and save him. It was a Mask has, there was other people down too. So I think keeping the cohesion together, it goes down to our trainings and SOPs and all that. So King's Fall Protocol, you know, next man up, whoever the highest ranking team member is or whatever, or most experienced, or whoever is designated, takes over as temporary squad lead, gets account of what all the other teams are doing, etc., and kind of does what they need to do to secure that Mask Haz's position, whether that be, you know, reallocating people here and there, keep on pushing, pulling, covering fire, just whatever is necessary for that moment. I think that's the way we keep cohesion going in those high stress situations, just falling back on our training.
White? White's back.
Right. My bad.
So what was the question again? Sorry, I was trying to get situated again.
What efforts are made to enhance unit cohesion and morale during high stress periods?
Uh, it's like I said, it's just all the training that we've done together. Uh, People know what they need to do. Like like his example, Mask has. Corman responded, and before I even had to say anything, we had security around us. We were protected. We didn't need. We were good to go. Like we didn't have to worry about being shot at. Uh, and that's just training. The training, uh, working together for so long. Even like with the like new guys when they join the unit, the the people that have been here for a while let them know, hey, we need to do this. So they're like, oh, okay, cool. So yeah, it's kind of hard to explain. It just happens. Like everybody kicks into that emergency gear, and it just people do what they need to. Cyber?
Yeah, is that me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep, cyber.
So I guess my perspective on this is kind of the back end of it, since I'm the one as Zeus usually creating the stressful situation, which is fun. I like it. I like that. So I think watching in operations and stuff, when I do something to put high stress, you really see people. You see who will be willing to step up and who you find. I guess you find who your really good leaders are and your really good followers are, which both of those are very good things. Like when it comes to high stress, let's say you're not the leadership kind of person, but if you're a good follower, you'll be able to take kind of quick orders and be able to execute them very quickly. If you're on the leader side of it, you see an issue that's occurring and you step up to be able to give those kind of orders and stuff like that. Both are needed in the same in the same scenario. The most recent one I could think of is like we were excuse me, tail end of Operation Last Leg, where we destroyed the last remaining Pakistan airfield. When we pushed into the town that was just north of there was reports of SVEST. And sure enough, as command element was pushing up to the next house, a individual with the SVEST came running by and wiped out the PL at the time, which was Captain Hideyoshi. In that moment, like, people around him took charge, got security, moved him out of the open, started working medical, cleared the closest building in case they had to go interior. All that happened within 2 minutes of that going off, and he was back up situationally, was back able to get back in command and stuff. All those moving parts worked like clockwork immediately. And so that's what I like to see, is when people know how to take charge, people know what to do in high stress situations. And I think that's like, I think a lot of that comes from working with each other. Maybe not just necessarily in trainings, but when you have a high retention rate of people that are active, they get to work together more and more and more and more. And like that kind of stuff is what starts to build that cohesion, which is used to overcome those high stress situations. So it's really cool seeing it on the Zeus end, because you get to see it in real time. Very cool.
So it's a hard question. I mean, we get high stress situations in Tuma, but it's not nearly as often as I'd say on the ground. Maybe for fixed wing guys a little bit more, just with Red Air.
I don't know. 25 SAM missiles is pretty stressful.
Yeah, see, but I'm never in those situations. I'm always hiding behind a hill. Oh, something's blocking me. Let me get down, lose some altitude.
Soccer's playing whack-a-mole in the sky.
Yeah, that's really what I do. I need you to look at this. Pop above a hill, look at it, go back to hiding. But it's really it's a fucking hard question. Like, I honestly, I really don't know. Like, we just handle it, and then like after it, we kind of joke about it. We're like, "Damn, man, that was close. Thanks, Dubs. Thanks for killing him for me." And then we go back to normal. I know, like in the past, like I've had 2 jets on me. I think it was like the end of the lithium campaign, where there was a shit ton of red air. And then I think me and Linvey both had 2 MiGs following us, and we're like, "Dubs, we need you to come save us." He's like, "Working on it." And me and Linvey flying away, trying to survive, and then I don't know where Dubs comes and saves us. And then it was just like routine after that. That's all I got.
Period. Unit cohesion and morale. I think looking at Tuma, we stress that we are support asset, and there may be times where we don't see a lot of action, or it's always kind of like a coin flip. We get called in a couple times here and there, and mainly we're doing ISR, or we are like firewalling the throttles for 2.5 hours. It's usually how it breaks down, and we reiterate on the times where either we know it's going to be slow, or we're like an hour or so in and it's just been slow. The option is always there for members of TUMOD to just jump to the ground, so that way they have something to do. So we kind of keep that aspect of being fresh available there. High stress periods, if we're getting shot down a lot, or we're just facing a constant threat, or constantly being called in for any multitude of things,
Lithium.
we always take it like one call at a time. Like, hey, one call in at a time. You got, Yogi breathing down your neck about looking for stuff. Like, hey man, we're doing the best I can. I got this to deal with. I got this thing chasing me. We'll get it. Yeah, that's about it.
Could you read the question for me, Dubs? Because by the time you had asked it, I was talking to the woman again.
What efforts are made to enhance unit cohesion and morale during high stress periods?
I think it depends on the circumstance. If it's in op, really what I notice as the PL when I'm running around in between the 2 squads, it's people inherently will treat you differently because of your rank, and it comes back to that. Even though it's a video game, people are gonna treat you differently. Like, even in like a regular BCT, it's always really funny how any of our corporals or sergeants could be leading a training, and then I'm watching through Zeus listening, and everything's fine, and then there's that shift of I spawn in and I'm there physically, and they're like, oh, it's the captain. You know what I mean? Like, there's just a different like atmospheric pressure. But it's just it's weird. It's one of those again inherent things, right? And I'm sure everyone in command can probably understand that to a degree. And for me, when it's in the battlefield in op, it's running between the teams and just trying to keep like, hey, I'm a regular dude. Like I'm here to just designate and work with y'all and coordinate. And sometimes if it's a really bad situation, you need to remind people of like, hey, like make sure that gun's aiming on the hallway, or make sure you're covering the corpsmen while they're working on them, or whatever it may be, right? Like sometimes it's just reminding people basic stuff. So if they're stressing out, they don't keep thinking about a million things at once. You know what I mean? And then outside of op, it's command hanging out in the chow halls to, you know, build better rapport with unit members and, you know, just hang out and talk to people and see how people are doing and kind of create that like calm, cohesive environment of like, hey, when command staff's here and they're just chilling, like we can just come hang out and chill as well. And you know, it sucks because people aren't going to mesh well all the time, and that happens here. I mean, there's no doubt any organization is going to have pushback from within. That's just how it is. So really, it's just about kind of doing the best that we can with what we've got and trying to alleviate that pressure when and where we can. Even if it's like in op, there's not enough team leaders, command staff will gladly just become a team leader for a squad. I can't tell you how many times that I've just flown into another squad's like fire team, and like I'll be the Apollo actual for the op, and you know Blackjack gets super fucked up and I just mesh into 1-2 and become a regular rifleman holding security on a door to make sure that like the other half of Blackjack is good to go, and I'm doing my part in holding security. You know what I mean? There's just certain situations where you kind of just gotta be like, all right, grab a gun and let me fucking put in some work right now. So I think in terms of high stress situations, it's always going to come back to trying to be the calm. Hey, it's a gimmick, but it's real in terms of being the calm in the storm. That's all I got.
Okay. How would you describe your leadership style, and how has it impacted the unit?
I mean,
Crusader, you were a leader once.
yeah, I was. Yeah, no.
I've led a man a time or two.
Back in my day.
I was born in the dark. Yeah.
I am a
Style?
bean.
I don't know about style. I mean, I never really paid attention to how I roll. It was just how I was taught and putting it into, you know, in the moment situations. That's it. I don't think I had a style. At least I don't recognize it myself. Probably others do, but how I recognize myself is just follow the SOP, but bend it to in the moment, or adjust into the moment situation. I mean, how it impacted too. I mean, we got the job done.
We lived.
Yeah, we lived through it. I mean, objective was taken at some point, but it probably wasn't the quickest or the fastest, but it was taken. I mean, I think I speak for that on my infantry side. When I switched over from mechanized to the infantry side, that was most definitely kind of like that moment where, I got it done. It was done at least. It wasn't, I guess, to the book or how to people's liking, but it was done one way or another.
Before we push on, I'm kind of curious, what was the transition like going from mechanized to infantry? Like, I guess in any detail you want, but what was that like?
Most definitely awkward, 100% awkward. Because it was weird and awkward in a sense of I made it to E5 as an NCO, purely doing mechanized, and now I have to show up for that by being like infantry. But again, I know people also know that I just came from mechanized, so but still that whole point stands of being you made it to this level. You were taught how to use basic infantry tactics as well as mechanized, so you should be able to utilize that knowledge. But I've been doing mechanized for or whatever how long it was before the switch over. It was like a blur for a little bit. I was like, oh shit, wait, what tactic is this kind of thing? You know, I was like, wait. And I had to go back a couple times through whatever it was, AMC or any SOP, trying to refresh myself because I wasn't so used to the SOP or dealing with the infantry side. So, and I think it kind of showed. I'm not sure. But I definitely had a feeling it showed that I kind of was just in this awkward state of, do I have an idea what I'm doing? Who knows, kind of thing. At least that's how it felt for me.
I'd probably say you could have definitely fooled us because I think going back and looking at, NCOs and stuff like that, you're probably one of, if you go back to the first podcast, I think you were the favorite to want to come back to the unit full time. So that's got to say something. You definitely left some kind of impression.
Not by me.
Yeah.
Not by me though.
Yeah. White hates you. Hates you with all of his
He says you kind of smell.
It's mutual because lorazepam, Karsten, or whatever it is. Yeah.
Oh my
mutual.
I remember. I mean, shit, dude, you were in S2. I mean, that already says a lot about. If you get to S2, I mean, command trusts you. Like that's just.
Yeah.
There is no concern
you were
at all.
Selected because they trust you.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's how I felt about that transition. Look, yeah, obviously in hindsight, I was like, okay, I could have done this better and all that. But I mean, it happens for probably almost everybody every day. But that was like the huge thing for me, at least. Was I could have done better, or I should know what I am doing in this situation. But yeah, it was most definitely awkward and weird for that transition.
I think it's a fair. I truly think it's a fair feeling, for sure, because you're going from 8 months straight of, maybe there was an hour or two where you were a dude on the ground, but maybe not more than a team lead.
Yeah.
And you're going from writing SOPs, writing quals, writing documents, training people on all those 3 things, operating on those weapon systems in op, working in tandem with infantry and different nets, different styles of contact and leadership and movement scheme, and then boom, all of that is now on the back burner, and you are now a fucking full-on squad leader of a 3-man infantry fire. I mean, the change is no one would fault you for that kind of really weird gray area. And I think your first week or two was kind of I think it was the best way to word it was what you said was awkward.
Yeah.
And you got good real quick. It was just I know you had life stuff and everything come up, but I think you pretty much solidified yourself after the first 2 weeks and you were pretty much good to go. And it's always funny because there is that kind of weird instance of just how all the elements work separately and together.
Yeah.
Because, if you're a private or even a PFC in the unit, they're going to look at you as a sergeant and be like, oh, this guy knows what he's doing.
Exactly.
And then if you're kind of fumbling it, they're going to be like, what the hell? But it's just that factor of well, he got to where he was because he was a part of something completely outside of the infantry realm, at least in terms of direct leadership and contact. And I mean, I could be mistaken, and White, Dubs, Cyber, you could correct me, but I feel like that does happen every now and then within the the actual military when people do those lateral moves
Oh yeah.
from like different like just the whole different billets and shit. Like
Oh no, that happens all the time.
Like
that happens
it happened
all
to,
the
It
time.
happened to me.
It's like I love it when we get some, you know, like oh god, we had an E6 when I was in Pensacola that had been in what was he in? He was in IT, I think, for the longest time, and then he cross-rated to CWT, which is, you know, people that know like IT stuff versus cryptologic work and cyber work, it's a lot different. It's in the same like Intel area, I guess, but it's, you know, where IT you're focusing on hardware setups and making sure like whole systems and networks run, where cyber warfare you are focusing on extracting information, defending your information. So it's completely different. It's the software side of it, you know. And so you have this E6 who comes in to Pensacola and is supposed to be an LPO, which is leading petty officer, basically. Like, think of like a fire team leader, I guess, but
Like a
more
shift
for
lead.
like a shop. Yeah, like a shift lead. And then he didn't know shit about his job. He had no idea what he was doing. He barely had passed JCAC, and like it was rough. I'm not gonna lie, it was rough at some points. But you know, he also showed why he was at E6, right? Because he then took the time to really get hands-on with everybody, and he wasn't that, oh, I'm an E6 and you're an E3 or you're an E4. You don't, you know, I know more than you. He very much knew that, like, I don't know what I'm doing. Please teach me. So I guess that worked in his favor. But, oh, yeah. Lateral moves like that in the military happen all the time. And I honestly think that
we gave him
it
the
was-
perfect
yeah.
Milsim experience.
perfect
That-
military experience.
Yeah, like Cyber saying, like when I went from being HM1 to being CS1, it was a completely different world. No idea what the fuck I was doing. It was just like fumbling around until I can get my feet stable. And it's like going from medic to being a cook. Two completely different worlds. And going from being the head of all these corpsmen to head of cooks, it was just night and day. It's like paperwork's different. Fucking my job's completely different. It was just like it took me like 3 months at least to get somewhat stable. It's rough. So like I felt bad for Crusader because it was like it reminded me of what I went through. But it was Crusader, so I had to give him a hard time.
Yes.
Yeah. I
Oh,
didn't
100
feel
yeah,
bad for him.
100%.
Yeah, he's fine.
Nah, he recovered quick though. Got back to his roots. I will say, totally White's gonna hate me for it, but like happy late 2-day birthday, White. You beautiful Corpsman Dockman, you. Because it was the
Hell
Corpsman's
yeah.
birth. For those who don't know, June 17th is the current active birthday for the hospital corpsman in the U.S. And it currently brings it up to 126 years of active service with the United States Marine Corps. And White was an actual corpsman. So, yeah, happy birthday. Rock Hill Corpsman up.
It's because they don't trust Marines with morphine.
I'm valid.
Exactly. we don't trust Marines with fucking Tylenol or ibuprofen.
Yeah.
We don't trust them with anything. The only thing we trusted them with,
Doc.
the only thing we trusted them with was crayons, and even then, it was hard to trust them.
Yeah, then they
It's
try
in
to
my
do
nose.
Is there a
It's in
mod?
my nose.
Is there a mod that adds the silver bullet?
Oh,
Oh,
No, there's
God.
one that adds. There's one that adds. Oh, that would be a hilarious replacement for the slap mod to like
Oh,
slap
God.
instead
I
of
will
slap
be
into
damned
re-
if I'm in combat and I
Get a
see White
silver
turn
bullet.
some knocked over Marine over and his ass cheeks come out and he sticks a needle in his butt or an ice stick.
Oh, that's funny.
God. Oh
Um,
God. Don't bring.
There is a mod that adds crayons. That
I will-
You know, the immersion cigarette mod. There's the
I
immersion
remember that
crack
one, yeah.
mods.
I
We
will
might get
say-
that one.
To just so we don't get stuck on it too long, just acknowledging the chat. Yes, SOPs are like baseline. Use them to help facilitate the growth of your squad and your team. Always use them as the baseline. Don't use it as a Bible. Okay.
Yeah, 100%.
Whew!
Like
You stanky.
like with the corpsman, when I do the corpsman training, I tell them this is the way I would like you to do it, but do it the way that fits best for you, because every situation is going to be different when it comes to the medical stuff. It's not everything's going to work the same way, step by step. Just modify it to what you need it to do. But anyways,
Now goes to Ace.
Yeah, Ace, what's your leadership style?
Yeah, Ace. Speak words, boy.
Well, kind of a podcast, so I think I'd speak words. Just a hunch. But I wouldn't, kind of like what Crusader said a while ago. I don't really know, I guess, per se, what my leadership style would be. And honestly, it goes by situations and just like who I'm dealing with. It always changes. So it depends on the situation, who I'm dealing with, what they did, what situation it is. A lot of different variables. So yeah.
All right. White.
my leadership style is I want to ask somebody to do something I'm not willing to do myself. Most of the time, like, if I'm not gonna, I will do anything and everything I ask my corpsman to do. And if I ask somebody to do something, it's because I really can't do that. Like this weekend, I'm more likely would not be there Saturday. I've told Sluggo he's in charge. Just because I know he can handle it. He's been in the leadership role before. But once Sierra finishes up the NCOC pipeline, she's my number 2. And I help her with everything that I ask her to do. Like I got with her the other day, I said, hey, we need to get together, get the awards and stuff set up for the next GWI. And then this way, if I'm not able to do it, you can do it. So I will literally do what I will. If we need a corpsman for a fire team, I hop on the fire team. Not an issue. I've done it before. Like I won't ask somebody to do something I won't do myself. And all my corpsmen respond to that pretty well because they know I will do whatever I need to help them out.
No.
Cyber.
Yeah, leadership style. I think mine's kind of bit me in the ass a little bit recently as of the last survey. I'm very much a, I will teach people the way that they're kind of expected to handle things. And if you tell me that, hey, I got this, I understand this, I'll be very standoffish because I expect you to be able to pull your weight and like orchestrate what you have said that you can handle. And of recent, I think that's kind of gotten me where it looks like I seem distant from the unit. I promise you that is, far from the truth. I think probably other than Yoshi, I think I might do some of the most work here, especially on like the S5 and S3 side of things. But I think it's just one of those things where I find myself like I feel like everybody that claims that that you're an adult you know how to lead stuff. You want this bit of leadership and stuff like that. I'm going to teach you how you need to go about doing it. And then I expect you to be able to orchestrate and like execute on what you claim and what you've been taught. I'm very much a get stuff done even if I'm not around and report back kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm looking at potentially changing some stuff up in mine. Just because I don't want to be seen as distant. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain your leadership style, I guess. We should have explained each other's leadership style.
Yeah.
That's what we should have done.
Yeah, Ace
Or
is
maybe
edgy.
we'll let edgy leadership. Edgy leadership. But yeah, I wouldn't mind when we get around to Cap. I wouldn't mind you going through and telling us what you think our leadership style is. I think it's a lot easier to judge that on the outside than it is like looking at yourself.
I could do it, yeah, if y'all want.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is hard to.
Happy
judge
birthday,
your own
Dubs. Stop crying.
leadership style.
It's not until Saturday, fucker.
Then why are you crying?
No, it now.
Dubs!
Go ahead, Soccer.
Oh, you're good. I don't know. I think I'm kind of like too lenient in certain cases. I feel like I let like too much stuff slide. Like I've gotten better at like kind of nailing down the stuff that's like, all right, well, come on, lock in. Yeah, I know you can lock in for me for like 20, 30 minutes. You got it, dog. But like I don't know. I feel like I'm like pretty lenient, and I don't want people to cause like do the same mistakes that I made. So I'll try and give people like the tools they need to be successful. Some people that works out really well. Others, they do their own thing, and it's like, all right, well, I tried to help you, but not much I can do for you. I really try and be like open as well, and like listen to what other people are saying. I found like in previous units and things I've been a part of, it's like so many good ideas get shot down by people that just aren't open to suggestions. It's like their way is the best way. And this unit does something like they listen to everybody. Like with the surveys, surveys are a huge thing. I've never seen that in all my time playing Arma, a unit that like takes feedback from everybody. It's usually just like the core command staff group that, all right, we have the power, we do what we want. If they don't like it, they can find somewhere else. But yeah, that's a big thing for me. It's just like listening to what other people have to say, especially like newer guys and people that have been in the unit, maybe not even from too long, just like infantry guys, because everybody has good ideas, and if you shoot somebody's ideas down too early, who knows? It could have shit the bed and been a god awful idea, or it could have been a really great idea that was shot down because of just poor leadership skills and like judgment on things. That's all I got.
All right. I always hate trying to describe myself, so I will say that from a lot of people, and Cyber and Yoshi are always the biggest people that say it. They see me as firm but fair. The golden child, as they like to say, you assholes.
I just not making you blush.
Oh, it works.
Well, neat.
I mean, yeah, I like to make sure that my people have resources that they need. They get the trainings done that they want. Much like soccer, I very much take on like I guess like active listening, I guess you could say, like hearing what they have to say and then coming back with a response, whether it be yeah, we could do that, or no, I don't think that's feasible, and here's why. Like, I never really just flat out say no to someone. There's always a reason why we can't do something. And I think like a lot of that came into play when I got into command staff, and especially in S2, having don't really like doing it, but having to give people NJPs. It always sucks, but a lot of people, it's a learning opportunity. So I wouldn't take it. I tell them not to take it too hard unless it's something that is especially egregious. But yeah.
I think kind of what I'd like to do is, so I think in terms of leadership, I have always tried to be firm and fair, and I have been tested probably 3 times in very significant incidences of my capacity as the CO.
Oh my god, the one thing that sticks out when you say that was who is the kid? Zen with the pistols?
They them.
Oh god.
So they
yeah.
banned.
They them banned.
They them banned. Yeah. Sorry, YouTube.
Sorry, you do.
But
That's,
I think
that's
it
more for another episode.
100%. We need a mockumentary for the JPs that have happened.
Oh
Get
god.
Shadow to do some mockumentaries, like little 20-minute episode. That'd be funny as fuck.
Mockumentary is
Yeah, documentary, but it's like you mock the hell out of it. You make it like sarcastic and shit. Okay, but I've always tried to be firm and fair. Remember my first year was kind of struggling with more so like reacting too quickly, too hostile. I think there was just a lot of growth in personal tact and kind of trying to come from a place of like proving myself, but I don't think that's really an issue anymore. I guess personally, it really is the tact and overall finding the right words to describe what I'm saying without, not always attempting to hurt people's feelings, but also not trying to beat around the bush too much that the point is lost, right? And that's always the biggest struggle. Open conveyedness and just understanding the neutrality of a situation, I think, is kind of where I stem from. I kind of want to do, if you guys want me to, I could give y'all feedback from my purview, like CEO.
Yeah.
If you want. And then
Absolutely.
I'd like to hear you guys give yours for me.
Okay.
And
I'm not gonna list like anything crazy, obviously. No one here has done anything crazy. But just kind of being blanketed would be, I'll just go bottom up. Crusader, when you were active, I think,
Sorry.
given with what you had to work with, which wasn't a lot between Karsten and Lambert, and that's not blaming them. It was more so of he didn't really get that kind of real chance to take control of a mechy element until you made it over to like squad leading side of things. But I think your development and change from when you had first ever joined the unit to when you had retired are, again, I kind of honestly equate it to Lambert. It was just two completely different people in a year, you know. I think you did a really good job in terms of direct leadership, always asking for feedback, and kind of figuring out like your personal goals and working on things off time. I think you developed very competently as a leader overall. And while you might be kind of timid in terms of what you were, you became a lot more, I guess, empowered. Not the word. You became more. What's the English word? It starts with a C. If anybody knows, competent. Yeah, you became a lot more competent in your capabilities. For Ace, I mean, I think it's almost kind of it's kind of a similar song and dance. Granted, Ace was a fucking asshole when he started off in the unit.
He still is.
He still is, but it's not nearly as bad as he was. Maybe not an asshole. He was just a little. He was a little fucking shit. But in terms of then to now, there is a pretty vast difference. I think there's still some work when it comes to like command level things and like tact and taking that initiative, which I have personally seen a lot of growth in. But the only thing that sucks is or as command, we can see that growth. There's a lot of people who don't see that or don't even know that part of you. So they don't have anything to base it off of. They're just basing it on the you now instead of the you then. All right, which is fair because you're a member of command, but I think you're doing a lot better overall in terms of like command potential. I think you could do some more work with like the PL side of things. But when you take over direct elements in squads or teams, I think you do a good job. And you're a lot more interactive with the staff shops than previously. White. You're kind of almost in the same boat when it came to Crusader now. There's this kind of lack of that junior leadership for the corpsmen. You have this massive gap where you're dealing with that lack of overt junior enlisted and not enough NCOs. And Keeper might be able to kind of fix that because she's pretty promising coming up the pipeline. But overall, I think you've done a fantastic job with a position that you basically had to fix that was on fire. And your current overall leadership of, you know, don't ask people to do what you wouldn't do yourself is, I think, a fantastic thing to emulate and to continue doing. And you should just keep doing what you're doing.
I'm blushing now.
Yeah. I can feel your toes curling. Cyber. Not really problem person. I think it came back to like the growth in terms of tact, and sometimes it felt like laziness or forgetfulness, whatever it can kind of be chalked up to. But I think you've gotten a lot better in those specific categories between like going out and doing things and getting things prepared. And you do a pretty significant workload within the unit for certain, especially when it comes to Zeusing and monitoring the servers. But thank God you have like an actual dedicated assistant between Soccer and Lambert. So that's always cool to see that growth of your shop because of your heading, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, your involvement in the NCO pipeline, the SNCO like merit programs, a lot of the ideas I've always found to be very good ideas. It's just sometimes we fall short as an element or the unit doesn't have the heart for certain things, always going to have the need of potential growth just in terms of continuous tact and self-monitoring and not trying to, get on people, which I think you've done perfectly well, but just like always take it into account of something to think about, right?
Absolutely.
For soccer, kind of was, it seems weird saying, but in a year, kind of feels like he just like appeared in a way. Like, dude just like came out of the bottle. And truly, I think that you're very timid sometimes when it comes to certain things, and I think you just need to build up that that kind of command authority that can be really conveyed to everyone around you, especially to those below. You have it, it's there, and it's just gonna honestly, it'll just take some more time, but having that knowledge of whether it's the SOPs, leadership, or any of the trainings that you conduct, just kind of circle it back to like, hey, all right, let's get this done, let's get going, and set that tempo, But beyond that, I think you're doing a great job, and you just need more time in the post, and you're right as rain, man.
Feels good, yeah.
Dubs, I mean, I've always, and I always will say, you are the Jiminy Cricket of the unit. And I know you fucking hate it sometimes, but there have been plenty of times where I have been overtly heated or needed insight on something, and you were able to really kind of delve into looking at it from both perspectives and offering like a pure insight that not a lot of other people have ever been able to do for me. And I will always refer to you as like the guy to go to in terms of specific scenarios of, am I really fucking up right now? And that's kind of really how I base a lot of these like moral decisions. And if I know you think it's kind of wrong, then it's like, all right, well, I need to definitely take a step back and redirect myself. Tuma has been absolutely fantastic ever since you and Riptide took it over. So in that respect, I don't really have any issues in terms of your leadership style. I guess the only critique I'd have really would just be implementing more taskings for the deck comms in terms of involvement with the infantry or corpsmen, whether that's assisting in training or being on the ground, not during op, but during specific instances of like just instruction or leadership. I think it'd be well worth their time to show some more commitment in action across the unit instead of just within the 2-mile area. But that's
cool.
Kind of it for me to y'all. I'm kind of curious what y'all think now, I suppose. Excuse me.
I'm still trying to
top down again?
Yeah. Yeah, do you want top down, bottom down?
Bottom up.
Bottom. Just do bottom up. I'm gonna mute my mic and let y'all say your piece. Because
I think he stated himself earlier. What was it? Shit, I'm trying to remember what you just said about himself. I kind of concur with what he said. It kind of goes back into that previous question with, being with command and having that presence like around. He does have that kind of. From what I'm trying to remember, also between from 22 to now, I'd say it's about like the same, but now he's got just it's tighter grip. He ain't loosening the leash at all. It's definitely a lot restricted, but in a way where the unit grows and it learns from its mistakes and carries on. It's definitely not a bad thing, but rules with a tight leash, as most units should. That's pretty much all I got. I was trying to think about it. It's kind of last minute stuff, but
Yeah, I guess it's me. So, yeah, I mean, by far the best unit leader I have so far. I mean, you aren't afraid to tell people like what they need to improve on or anything like that, and I think that's something some other leaders are afraid of. I don't know. It's a lot of things to say, but just not enough right words, I guess. I don't know.
What?
It's to me, it's you help people out to where you expect of them, and then you let them go and let them flourish or fail. And 99% of the time, they flourish. Like with me, you guys helped me out from the get-go of taking over Corman, and then you have released me, and because of that, that showed you had trusted me, stuff like that. I've done the best I can with Corman, and I continue to do. I plan on doing just that and living up to your expectations, because you trust us to do our jobs. You don't try to micromanage us. You literally just like, all right, I'll help you along the way, and when I think you're ready, it's yours. Like, for like the first 6 months, I was asking you, asking you all these questions about what you think and all this stuff, and then at one point you just said, it's yours. Do what you want. Just don't fuck up. And because of that, it's helped me become the first senior chief in the unit. Hopefully the first master chief down the road. And it's helped. I've seen it help Ace, and I've seen it help the other junior leaders in the unit and stuff like that. The SNCOs. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I have to concur. I mean, I think me and Ace can both attest, since both of us were basically the first two people of the unit that joined in as privates, and, and wasn't a part of that initial leadership team, and moved all the way up through the ranks to SEA and AEA now. I think it goes without saying that we're definitely taught what is expected, and then we're expected to be those leaders. And so I think that's kind of where I get my leadership style from as well. It's kind of the same thing. Like, I'm going to teach you what you need to know, and then I'm going to expect you to do what you're supposed to do. I think that's the way it should be, because if you just, I mean, do you really have a command team if you have to sit around and micromanage your command team? You know what I mean? That doesn't exactly make any sense. So, if you're wanting, feedback on your leadership and stuff, like, and we're gonna have to, like, trying to find something that's not just, praise. I would say maybe like sometimes you do let your emotions get to you in decision making, but that's, I mean, number one, that takes somebody to get you to that point emotionally, which is rare because you have a pretty cool head on your shoulders. And then it also has to be like something had to have been done like super quick without the command team being like, oh, hey, actually, we gotta do it this way. I know I've had to say that a couple of times from the side of S2 and just be like, wait, no, and sometimes it's too late. Sometimes it's good to go. But yeah, I mean that's me having to like super dive in and like try to find something to nitpick. If you know, I didn't like the leadership style here, I wouldn't be here. So that's about all I got.
Perfect. For me, I'll definitely say you're honest, and you won't like. What's the word I'm looking for? Like not baby. There's a better word than baby. The truth.
Sugarcoat.
Yeah, that's the one. I was kind of my old head, man. Always coming through.
Hey, get out of here.
Hey, it's the old man in me.
Must have won their weekly Scrabble tournament.
All right.
Oh, that's a little too far.
All right, I'm sorry. All right, but in all seriousness, no, like doesn't sugarcoat stuff. It's like he'll tell you genuinely what you need to improve on, and a majority of the time, it's stuff that you can apply to things outside of Arma in video games. It's things you can apply to like your life. I mean, it's genuine life skills, like how to be tactful in certain situations, even though you may be upset with the situation. How to go about it in a tactful way where you don't make yourself look like an asshole or a dumbass, even though you may be in the right. And that's one of my biggest things. It's hard to find people that'll tell you the truth, and things that you don't want to hear, because 90% of the truth is stuff you don't want to hear. If somebody's telling you all good things, I guarantee you they're not telling you the truth 100% of the time. And that's a big one. I'm trying to think of like any critiques. I mean, I don't have any like major critiques. I mean, for the most part, everything like goes good. If something needs to be handled, it's handled, and it's handled quickly. There's no like, should I do this? I don't know. I'm having like a panic attack. You know, it's all swift and sweet.
Drink iced coffee.
Panic attack.
I knew you was gonna fit that in somehow.
But yeah, I mean that's really all. Tell you the truth. Will genuinely help you grow as a person. Dubs.
Yeah, let's see, nearly 2 years here. I can confidently say that you've grown as a leader, either directly or indirectly through our help. You learning and realizing that you have people to fall back on, to look to for advice, help. You know, did I make the wrong decision? Did I make the right decision? Stuff like that. That's overall growth as a leader. And from what I knew you as before being in this role, like from a new private, and then taking over the reins of Tuma and being involved in more of the higher level decision making and being privy to certain information and guiding you through that, you've definitely grown.
I think it's sad. It's sad thing. I think when I saw the shift to, because way back when you used to be kind of the person that like, nah, I know what's best for the unit. Like, you know, we're gonna do it this way because that's what I say. I think it actually took the February event and having like several of what you considered your best friends really hurt you, to then I think it was almost like not like a wake-up call, but like you grew up real quick, and I think that's when your first anything you was willing to accept to be like, okay, maybe this is a good idea, or like, hey, let's try someone else's idea, was the restructure into a mechanized infantry Marine Corps or Marine unit rather than just a full-time infantry. Because, you know, people had asked for it before and you were very against it. And then we were just like, hey, maybe a reorganization would do us good. And you went along with it. And I think, honestly, like, it went really well. And then I think it was that change that moved the unit more into a feedback-driven system, and it was very good for both the unit and for you, even though the circumstances kind of sucked, like, you know. But I really think that's where I saw the shift into, oh wow, okay, this guy, you know, he's starting to look more into, you know, his unit and stuff like that. I think it was really cool to see.
He was able to branch out and utilize the resources that he had that he didn't previously have before, or had in a minimal capacity.
Yeah. I think that's
well, I mean, I appreciate all the feedback from you guys, and honestly, it's good to know that you guys generally think well of me. So I appreciate that. Even with the critiques, like, there's always something that can be looked at or improved on.
So
And
gives you the warm and fuzzies.
All right, Yoshi.
yeah,
I'm expecting the payment in my Cash App here shortly for.
yeah. I got you.
supposed to talk about that off the air.
Yeah, God. Well, we're fucking airing. Anyway, donate to Patreon, everybody. But regardless, yeah, it's always good to hear like true, genuine feedback. And I'd probably agree. To be honest, I think if I had to equate it to anything, I think my character was pretty close to Tollus. Maybe not exactly, but I'd say around like half of me was similar to Tollus until that like February thing. And then I was like, I really need to, because like, yeah, we delegated to like junior guys, but anything above the junior guys, there was like no delegation whatsoever. It was all passed down, but now it's kind of evened out. But I appreciate it. And I hopefully you guys, you know, like the feedback I was able to give on the spot. But yeah, I think this is a good time to transition to the wheel.
The
So
wheel.
there is one question from the chat that I said I would bring up and I skipped over it.
Oh.
River said, I don't know if it was said, but maybe a weekly game night instead of Sunday mini ops. A Sunday sit down and chill in the Chow Hall and just play games.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
We have brought that up a couple times, and we have tried it, and no one would show up to it.
Yeah, so show up. We'll do it again, but show up.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm not against it. It's just we need people to show up to be able to do it.
I'm going to the people who watch it. Show up. Join the unit.
Helldivers.
Donate to the Patreon. I mean,
Gartic telephone.
Essay,
so all them
essay,
things
essay.
can be dished out.
the actual pay to win of Milsim.
Hell yeah!
Right.
You want your own ribbon? $1,000.
I do have two.
Okay, all right.
I do have 2 editions of the Jackbox party games. We could all play that.
Oh god.
Oh my god, that would be bad.
I will cream.
Allowing
Oh,
people
is
to
it
talk
the wheel?
shit anonymously.
Yep, the wheel is up.
Not
The wheel is up.
the
All right.
will of. We need to actually name it. We need the will of something. What is it? What does it need?
The
to be?
wheel of interrogation.
The great
The
picketing.
The great pickening. Well, we'll maybe throw that out as a poll on the YouTube channel. That might be kind of fun to do.
What do we want to name the wheel?
Pickening.
Yeah.
The great pickening.
The great pickening. Oh my god.
Dude, it's Juneteenth. Y'all can't be saying this, man.
It's not like
Oh,
you're picking from a
that's not
cotton
what
wheel.
we- Hold on a second. You
Cotton
took
gin.
that there. We didn't.
Alright. Wheel of crayons. Da, 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 da.
Or
Lord.
All right. Does anyone want to put in guesses first?
Is
Ooh,
it landing on someone right now or no?
No, it's just it's standing by.
Oh.
But I do want to say before we spin it, Crusader, how did you feel about today's little podcast? Being a part of it, man.
I like it. I like it.
I like it.
I like it. Yes.
I like this.
Do you have
Yeah.
any feedback for the podcast or anything? Or?
Oh, not really. I mean, I like the idea of what we did in the beginning of technical difficulties. Get that sorted first. Other than that, no, it's great.
Hell yeah.
When it, in my experience, every streamer or podcast or whatever, unless they are a professional podcast stuff, will always have technical difficulties at the start of the podcast or stream.
That's probably why it runs for the first like 5 minutes blank, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of
Are
times.
you saying
It's,
we're not professionals?
No, like
Yeah.
a lot
Don't
of-
laugh that hard.
so
Alright.
Wasn't
a
that
lot of
funny?
times it's the YouTube trying to catch up to the streaming stuff. So it's like nothing I can do. It's just the YouTube servers trying to catch up with all the other streamers and stuff like that that's going live.
Yeah.
So
That sounds like the excuse I use when our server's acting up.
Huh?
Huh?
So I want y'all.
I
I want y'all
learned-
to take a look at the wheel. River said not river, so now it's going to be river.
All right. Look at that.
Very
Hell
good.
yeah.
before we spin this, Cyber, I learned from the best when it comes to excuses.
Very good.
Very good.
Always sham. Always sham.
All right.
I'm feeling
I
Foreman.
think Huseman. I think
Foreman.
Huseman.
Just a
Get it
Foreman.
this time.
Huseman would be cool.
You know what? I think it's gonna be done.
Ornament.
Oh,
I think-
that'd be a good one.
Oh my! I
It would be a cool one to get done on here.
I think it's gonna be Shadow.
It's gonna be Price.
I would love for it to be Shadow, honestly, just so I can make him wake up at like 2 in the morning.
Ark.
Be like, wake up, boy.
Ark or Tyler.
God, you guys remember when we were only gonna do this once a month?
Yeah.
Yeah, that didn't last long.
Yeah, and then we had so much fun with it. We're like, you know what? Once a week, every Wednesday.
All right,
right,
you
every
guys
day.
ready?
So
Yeah, ready.
All right, let's do it.
send it.
Spin that
That
wheel.
wheel.
Dubs, who's your guess?
Tyler.
Dubs.
Keeper, we're going to get a Corman.
No.
No way.
Later.
What is
Yeah,
it?
buddy. Yeah, buddy.
All right, who's the backup?
Wait, who did
It's Tyler.
It's
Tyler.
not working. Tyler got picked. Yeah, let's go. Why can I not see it? I don't know.
Oh my god.
And the next person.
Ooh.
Stag. Oh. Ooh.
Ooh.
Yep, a retired guy.
Alright.
Dude, it's always a retired guy. All right, let me fucking shoot out the ping.
Hell
Unless
yeah.
are you doing it, Dubs, or am I doing it?
I could do it.
Well, I think that was a fantastic ender for tonight's episode. Thank you all for tuning in. Crusader, thank you for showing up and being a part of the
Oh, yeah.
podcast tonight, man.
Loving it.
With that being said, y'all have a fantastic night. Rock Hill and maybe don't eat babies.
Nah,
Nah,
eat
just-
babies.
Nah,
Eat a
eat them
baby.
all. Eat
Just
'em all.
kidding.
No, no.
Just kidding.
In
Don't
honor of
forget
Cor-
Drink Ike's coffee.
in honor of
My bad.
Corman's birthday, Corman up.
Corman up. Where's Doc?
What a terrifying thing to hear.
Right?
Ugh. Ugh.